Whether you need to share that design data with internal stakeholders, production team members, or maybe your clients, eDrawings makes it easier than ever to not only open, but view, manipulate those native SOLIDWORKS files.
So eDrawings is that program that we can go in and we can actually view the CAD files that we need to. So let's open up a file and let's see what I'm talking about. Right, there are many types of CAD, right? There's SOLIDWORKS, but there's a lot of different types of 3D files that we can look at. And when we're talking about, sharing things securely or doing things like that, maybe a way that you're being secure with your files is that you're sending things as like a step file. So it's a really common file type, and we're able to use eDrawings to go in here, open up this step file, and being able to view it again without any kind of more sophisticated CAD software. eDrawings is great. It allows us to do things like measure as long as the permission's turned on, right? Something else that's cool about it, we can actually take those savings away if we go and save this as an eDrawing file type. But we can see here, right, we're able to take those step files that we need, and we can actually view things really easy. We can take section views so we can see what's going on the inside. We should be able to move things around because this is a part file, right? So a lot of really cool things that we can do inside of eDrawings that are really useful. So on the note of step files, another way that we've seen a lot of clients communicate their CAD data is with something called model-based definition, right? And that's the idea of having all of the information all inside of a 3D CAD model. And this could be done a couple different ways, right? We can have the MBD be saved inside of a SOLIDWORKS file, or really commonly you'll see things called Step 242 files, where all this information is going to be, all the dimensioning and note information is all inside the 3D file. Or we have, things like 3D PDFs that you can see in Adobe. But let's just show, kind of an idea of what we might see, with someone who's using MBD. Right? So this would be, again, a model where not only do we have, the 3D components, but we also get all of the dimensioning data as well. And again, the cool thing with this is we're actually able to have multiple views, right? So we can get all the different defining views that we need to. And it's kind of just moving towards like a paperless world. It's not necessarily drawingless, but it's more to have everything kind of in a 3D space where we can see exactly what's going on, right? Exactly where different dimensions are being led to, right? And there's a mess of all the dimensions turned on. So eDrawings, again, it's a powerful viewing tool. When we're talking about not only how do we send files and how do we share things like that, but with the idea of, hey, how can someone actually view what I'm sending them? Again, if I'm sending them an STL file or a SEP file or anything like that, how can they see those things? And they can see it all through eDrawings. The last thing I actually want to mention with this too is if we're talking about security, right? We really want to lock this down so specific people can only see specific things. With eDrawings, we do have the ability to do some save as, and we can save these 3D parts or 3D assemblies, right? Any of these 3D things that I'm looking at, we can actually save them as an eDrawing native file. And if we do that, we can actually turn off or turn on some abilities, right? So if we just want people looking at this, we just want them to see it, but we do not want them to be able to measure something off it, right? That's our IP. They're not going to be looking at it and being able to kind of reverse engineer from it. We can actually enable measuring or have measuring be turned off. We can also do things like include file properties. So if this is a SOLIDWORKS property, right, our SOLIDWORKS part, we might have custom properties attached to this, which eDrawings can read. So we can either include that or not include that. Maybe that has some, again, specific information that we don't want to share. We can turn that off, right? And this is also, hey, can we allow someone to take that file and then export it as an STL? We can say yes or no. So that is our first software that we're going to discuss, which is, again, eDrawings. It's a fantastic viewer. It's a great spot for people who need to see the data that you're going to be sending them. Well, there's a couple different ways where we can make sure that those files that we're sending are secure.